Come and join me for a walk in the rain today. I got fired up today. We're going to talk about that beta cuck Keir Starmer. We're going to talk about the Kamloops 215 again with Francis Widdowson and a recent video I just watched that got me going. And we're going to talk about Pierre Poilievre and how, like I've said before, he's got to take the gloves off. He needs an attack team. He needs a team like the Liberals and the liberal mainstream media have assembled to go after him. Put together a team, Poilievre, pull off the gloves and go for broke. Stick around, you want to watch this. I want to discuss three things in this video, at least three things. What brought me out on this rainy morning? It's drizzling in Toronto, but we've had some good weather as of late, so no big deal. And I'm on foot today. I watched the video about an hour ago, and it's on Francis Widdowson's YouTube channel. And if you don't know who Francis Widdowson is, she's an academic based out west, I believe in BC. She resides in BC, and she's been a vocal naysayer against the 215 supposed dead or unalive bodies in a Kamloops Residential School mass grave. Now, I've covered off on this on a few videos in depth, but this can't go away, and people like Francis Widdowson and Dallas Brody and others out west are not letting it go away, and I don't want to let it go away either. Because what this does, we have to come to a conclusion with this, because what this is going to do, it is going to knock the wheels off liberalism and the liberal lies. They have lied about this since when was it, 2021 or 2020, and they fabricate this story. 215 small children that were thrown into mass graves at the Kamloops Residential School in Kamloops. Right from the onset, people were questioning this claim because, well, for lots of reasons. 215 children go missing. Where are the parents' reports? Where are the police reports? Where are the witness reports that would have to be corroborated through investigation? Where are all the parents? Where are the teachers? Where is the principal? All these sort of principals. Where are all these sort of things? And none of this has been substantiated. Around the same time that beta cuck Trudeau was going on CBC and CTV and the usual bought and paid for liberal media outlets and crying and sniveling and acting, because he's an actor, right? He's a crisis actor, and he was installed to be a crisis actor. And he's saying that it's it's an atrocity, it's genocide, and other people use that word too. It is mass genocide. So the liberal government goes on a massive payout campaign, a reparations campaign, to give $5.4 billion to Indigenous people that claimed to have been wronged or abused at a residential school. Now, the process of handing out money was loose, to say the least. You just had to fill out a form saying you went to a residential school, fill out on the form what you experienced during your time at a residential school, and none of it was investigated. You just got a check in the mail, and that's exactly how it worked. A lot of the claims were repetitive, word for word. So if you were essayed, if you were physically assaulted, if you were emotionally traumatized, based on what you filled out on this form, you get a check delivered to your house. And now, obviously, people picked up on this scam, because that's what it is, a scam, and they would coach each other on how to fill these forms out and how to get the most money out of the liberal government. Because what the liberals are doing, they're bankrupting the country. They are buying liberal votes, and more importantly, they are creating division and mass chaos in this country. So the reason I'm talking about this again today, because of this video I watched this morning, it's a recent video. I'm going to put it at the end of this video in a thumbnail. Francis Widdowson goes to a university. I believe it was a university that she was kicked off and not allowed to go to for speaking the truth prior. So she went back there to answer to the allegations and to further her voice of, she's not denying that, well, I shouldn't say that. She is very skeptical that there are anyone buried at the Kamloops Residential School, as am I, as are thousands of people within this country. So her whole platform is to have dialogue with the opposing thoughts. Like people that have opposing thoughts, the university students predominantly, she wants to have a back and forth dialogue to explain, or to get their side of it and to explain her side of it. Now it's a pretty easy cut and dry solution in my estimation. They've given $12.1 million to a group of indigenous people out there, or whoever they gave the $12.1 million to come to a conclusion, to find out if there are people buried on the grounds of the Kamloops Residential School. So it's not so dissimilar to this field here. I'm in a hydro field now. If you watch my videos, you see me in this hydro field before. Now, due to the Liberal government for the past 11, 12 years now, collapsing the economy, collapsing industry in this country, there are hundreds of thousands of construction workers across the country out of work. I personally know many people in the trades and construction workers, laborers that are out of work. Now they are, and they're union, they're mostly union people. Now it's a pretty good paying job, relatively speaking. It's not a bad paying job, but they are not getting paid now. So $12.1 million would go a long way in employing some of these laid off construction workers across Canada that can operate excavators, that can operate backhoes, that can operate a shovel. Okay, you don't need ground penetrating radar. You don't need that. They've already determined there's anomalies there. Ground penetrating radar cannot find a body. Okay, so what you need shovel in ground. Now I've made this offer in one of my videos where you don't have to give me $12.1 million. I will assemble a crew of 10 people. You pay for our flights out there, and Mark Carney, you put us up in one of those condos that the federal government is bailing out the greedy developers. You put us up in a condo. It doesn't have to be a fancy condo, okay? And we'd like to see the actual the bills or the receipt from these condos, because we don't want to have to pay $12,000 or $13,000 a week to live in a condo. We don't want a liberal inflated money back kickback scheme when we go stay out there. 10 people. We'll go out there. I'll get two backhoe drivers. We'll rent some backhoes out there, and the rest of us will have shovels, and we will dig up that property. I don't know how many acres it is, but we will dig that up. And I'm guaranteeing you, in the first day, we will have a great percentage of that property dug up with no results. And and when I say no results, I mean no remains, human remains. Simple as that. So just say, on the high end, we're there for a week. On the high end, 7 days, let's say. You give us $1,000 a day each, okay? That's not exorbitant with the way you guys fucking throw money around. That would even cover your fucking bar tab the first half hour in one of your airplanes, Carney. So you give us $1,000 a day each. That is 7,000 times 10. That's 70 grand. You put us up in condos. We'll stay 4 in a condo. Okay, say that's another 2,000 a week. Okay? So we'll say 3 condos. So that's another 6,000. Okay? You see where this is going? You rent some backhoes. They're not cheap. I understand that. I'm saying you fly us out there. I'm saying you can have this all done for 100 grand. 7 days later, after you give us 100 grand, and not just us, but who's ever supporting the rentals of these backhoes and the condos and whatever, the Airbnbs, 100 grand, and we'll prove to you that there's not one fucking body buried on the Kamloops property. Okay? Then you're gonna have to go back, and you're gonna have to admit fault. The liberals will have to admit fault, because they will not be able to run from this, and that's why this has to stay at the forefront. Okay, you got Frances Whittleson on this university. I guess it was sometime last week, maybe. I don't know when she was there, but the video was posted 7 hours, 8 hours ago from the time of me shooting this video. She's literally surrounded by the usual suspects, university students, white liberal women with as many piercings as they can get on their head as possible. You have beta feminized males with zero bass in their voice surrounding her, and they are not being fact-based in their argument. They are arguing based on emotion. If this one woman said, or girl, whatever the fuck she is, she literally said, why do we have to have proof that there are bodies buried there to believe the story? She literally said that. Now, Frances has been jammed up in these situations, surrounded by retards many, many times. So she keeps her composure. She's very good at keeping her composure, and she's a critical thinker, obviously, and she wants to remain objective and bring facts to the conversation. But once she starts countering their nonsensical outbursts, they become increasingly more hostile, increasingly more incendiary, and start throwing slander at her. There was one white guy that come up and kept on asking her the same question: have you interviewed any residential school survivors? And she's trying to tell him no. And he kept on saying that, well, how can you have credible information from the residential schools if you haven't sat down and interviewed a residential school survivor? Well, the reason she hasn't interviewed a residential school survivor is because none will sit down with her, because she will rip them to shreds. She will debunk every claim they make. And she even says, she's not saying there hasn't been abuse at residential schools. She is specifically talking about the 215 at Kamloops. Let's get to the bottom of that. And it's the same thing with liberals all the time. You bring them, or you counter them with facts, and they crumble. They get violent, they get hostile with you because they don't have an argument. And that's the same thing with Pierre Poilievre. I'm gonna get into Pierre Poilievre in a second here. This is pretty good. So, Frances Widdowson. People that watch my channel, a lot of people do know her name. They know Frances Brody, and they know the book, The Grave Era. They know Rebel News has covered it extensively, has done documentaries on the Kamloops Residential School. And it's not going to come as a surprise or news to them. But if you don't know this situation, get educated on it, because this is the house of cards that is going to crumble, is going to collapse the Liberal Party, in my estimation. This is the biggest travesty, the biggest criminal act in Canadian history, next to COVID. Okay, COVID's number one. That fucking scam. So you have these people, and when you watch this video, it will inflame you. It will infuriate you, because the level of, it's mass formation psychosis, okay? They all talk the same way. Then once they get into a pack, it's a frenzy. It's a feeding frenzy. It's like a pack of hyenas. It's like a shark, a school of shark attacking something, piranha, whatever animal you want to use in the wild. It is that type of behavior surrounding Frances Widdowson, and she's a middle-aged woman. She's an academic. She's non-combative. I don't think she practices MMA. She's a non-combative person, and they want to intimidate her. So I'm going to put that video. Check that video out. Get educated on that, because this is liberalism in a nutshell. This whole residential school scam that they're doing to perpetrate mass chaos on the Canadian public. Now, this leads me into my next topic I want to discuss, and that is Pierre Poilievre once again. Like I've said in many videos, and like people know, the Liberals and the Liberal corruption machine, organized crime machine, has relentlessly gone after Pierre Poilievre's character, Pierre Poilievre's political accomplishments or lack thereof. They've gone after his appearance. They've gone after a multitude of things with regards to him to assassinate his character assassination. Now, someone on my channel, a regular viewer, a very intelligent person, forwarded me a video of a guy by the name of Anthony Russo, and he's got a relatively small channel, but it will grow. Trust me, his channel will take off. And he's a well-spoken young guy, and he's based out of BC, and he outlined what he thinks the federal he's outlining what he thinks that the federal Liberals in cahoots with the Conservatives, I'm talking the provincial Conservatives, like a Dougie Ford level, and other Conservatives within Canada that are actually Liberal. And Corey Tenekny, he is currently Doug Ford's campaign manager, and he's done some campaign managing for people out west. This guy is saying that they are trying to oust Pierre Poilievre to put in Jason Kenney as the new leader of the federal Conservatives. They are making a very, very aggressive push to kick Poilievre out to replace him with Jason Kenney. Now, Jason Kenney, during COVID, I didn't mind him leading up to COVID. I didn't know much about him. I thought he was one of us. But it turns out he is a liberal commie. And he is on this panel in Anthony Russo's podcast. Well, he's not, Anthony Russo isn't interviewing him. He's just, I believe it's on CTV, I think. But he's just put another video from CTV or another mainstream media up on his video. So he's not actually in direct contact with him. But Jason Kenney and that Corey Konechny guy, these guys, these guys are, I'm telling you, they're very, very evil, malicious people. Now, you take one look at Corey Konechny and you know he's a greaseball, okay? Jason Kenney, he's obviously been paid off to the highest degree, and Jason Kenney went on this panel and is regurgitating Justin Trudeau's COVID talking points with regards to right-wing extremism, white nationalism, white supremacy, and basically anyone that, he didn't say it like this, but anyone that goes against certain politicians in power, they are deemed far right-wing. Okay, so he is basically keeping that division front and center as part of his push forward to become conservative leader. Now, why would a guy like Corey Konechny, and why would the liberal government and the bought and paid for liberal media keep going after Pierre Poilievre so aggressively? It's because, and I'll say this again, you might not like Pierre Poilievre for certain reasons, and I don't like him because he's not aggressive enough. I'm going to get into that. I do like him, but he needs to be more aggressive. Why do they keep going after him? Because he won't play ball at the level that a Jason Kenney would, that a Doug Ford would. Doug Ford, he's imploding in Ontario. He's tanking. So I thought it was going to be a possible push for Doug Ford to take over Poilievre, but that is not looking like a reality now. It's leaning towards, after watching this video, it's leaning towards Jason Kenney. Now, Jason Kenney will be embraced by the Liberals because he is a Liberal, okay? Running under the Conservative banner. Now, this Corey Konechny guy, he is completely owned by corporations. So is Jason Kenney, so is Doug Ford, so are, I would say, 90% of the politicians in this country. They're all bought off. And that's the problem that we're having. That's the situation that we're in. But we have to stay the course with Poilievre. We can't turn our backs on Poilievre. Now, what I will say, if Pierre, by some chance, you watch this video, where are your attack dogs, Pierre? Where are your Corey Konechnys? You need to find people like that are going to have your back and that are going to get in the trenches and are not afraid to get some damage done to them, whether it be physically or whether it be verbally. You need to assemble a team. If you don't already have one, and I don't think you do, you need to assemble a team of people that are going to be like Corey Konechny and go after him, and go after the Jason Kenneys, and go after the Doug Fords and the Mark Carneys. You need to get way more aggressive, is what I'm saying, and you need to do it soon. Yeah, got a liberal Karen over here walking her dog. I got to be careful. Like I said in many videos, the most dangerous thing that has happened to Western civilization is the radicalized liberal Karen and the radicalized white beta feminized male. They are the biggest threat to this country. It's not white nationalism. It's not white supremacy. It's not the fucking KKK that these fucking assholes would like you to believe. Trust me, I'm a fucking white guy. I couldn't find a fucking white supremacist in Toronto if I fucking tried. Okay, that's a bunch of fucking horse shit. Like that guy from Slinging the Biscuit says. You know, he's a younger guy, ex-hockey player, and you know, he's right. This country is full of fucking retards. It truly is. We are surrounded by fucking retards. So I'm just pissed off. So now, the final thing I want to talk about is that beta cuck dandy Keir Starmer resigning today. Now, that's the 7th Prime Minister in the UK in the last 10 years. 7 Prime Ministers in 10 years. What's that tell you? That country's a complete failed state. It's completely failed. Now, unfortunately, in our country, we've had the same Prime Minister essentially for 12 years. Justin Trudeau. Then we had Mark Carney since 2020 as Prime Minister. He was just in the weeds until 2024. Or sorry, 2025. So people are saying, okay, it's going to be Carney's turn next. Well, it's not going to be that simple here. It's not going to be that simple. It's not going to be that simple over in the UK either. With the amount of damage that's done over there, okay, they're just going to put or find someone else. They're going to install someone else. That's even worse than Starmer. The level of mass formation psychosis and the level of deviant indoctrination in Western countries by design through the World Economic Forum, through other countries, China, through other countries, Israel, that have purposely put traditional Western countries at risk of collapse. They are just going to, it's like shark's teeth. They are just going to replace this Starmer jagoff with another Starmer jagoff. These people have been cultivated. These people have been hand groomed. Not so dissimilar to the grooming gangs that Keir Starmer facilitated in the UK. It's the same thing. You look at this video with Francis Whittleston, with these indoctrinated robots spewing the same nonsensical, emotional message that is not fact-based, has zero credibility from a factual standpoint. It's the same thing over and over and over again. Now, Pierre Poilievre, like I've said in many of my videos, man, you got to step up, brother. You got to get nasty. Who cares? Who cares? Okay, now let me back this up. People will say, no, people will say that if Pierre Poilievre goes too aggressive, he'll lose more of his base. It will be more fuel to the fire for the Liberals, saying he's unhinged and he's erratic and all that. I understand that, and people will say, be patient. Mark Carney has a very, very short shelf life left, a very close expiry date. People are saying be patient. I understand that, and to a high degree I believe that. Mark Carney, like I said before, he's about as personable as a rattlesnake in a sleeping bag. He's not the face of someone that is believable. So he knew that coming in, his handlers knew that coming in. That's why they got guys like Corey Konechny around to ensure they have the next Mark Carney in waiting. That is why they get paid millions of dollars. It's like a pro scout for a hockey team, for a baseball team. They go and they scout out who the next piece of shit's going to be they're going to put in place that is going to go along with the puppet master's instructions. And that's what they already have these people figured out. Now, I understand patience is a virtue, but we are at a critical point in this country. We have to invoke change. We have to invoke change. Now, look what happened. Keir Starmer, okay, like I said, they got rid of him, okay? We have to do the same with Carney. And they didn't get rid of him with violence. He came out sniveling like the little beta cuck he is at some podium with his pretend wife beside him this morning, or last night, whenever the fuck he did it. And he groveled. He groveled. Now, Mark Carney, if you can track him down and hold him down long enough to even get him groveling, it's rare. But we have to get Carney doing this. And the way we get Carney doing this is through the Kamloops bullshit 215. That's how we have to get through. And that's why they are doing everything in their power to keep that under wraps, because they know once that is out of the bag, the dominoes will fall. And that's what I got to say today. You got any questions, comments, concerns, put it in the comment section, and I will get back to you. Thanks for watching. Bye.